I'm going to let our Executive Director, Jan Smith, start our event. Round of applause.
This is our third, hopefully annual, community storytelling event where Miss Olivia Romo is the curator, and she has done an absolutely fabulous job of reaching out to some musicians and storytellers who are going to regale you with their stories tonight. I want to thank our sponsors for the Storytelling Festival. We are really been lucky to be supported by the New Mexico Humanities Council, by the New Mexico Arts, by Nighthawk Press, which is an independent publishing company in Taos, Becky Lenzini, by none other than Cisco of Los Rios River Runners, by the Virginia Wellington Cabot Foundation, by Casa Gallina, which is run by Richard Smera, and also by the Taos County Lodgers Tax. So if you don't know where SOMOS is at, we are at 108 Civic Plaza Drive. We're in the midst of renovating the front of our building. They're restuccoing and making new walkways and eventually a new sign and lights and so forth. There's so many other people to thank. There are the kitchen crew who have been busy since 8 o'clock this morning. Priscilla and Ray Romo are the ones who have been in charge of the chile and the Frito pies. And so they've been hard at work in the kitchen. We also have Francis Setasteven, who is here, who's going to be videoing. And once we have the video, we'll put it on our website. So if you know someone who didn't get to come tonight, that can share with them. I also want to thank Matthew for his hard work, and Maria Garcia, who's also offering lodging to one of the tellers, and also to Jamie Donnelly, who's offering lodging to Ray for the time that he's visiting us in Taos. I hope I haven't forgotten anybody, but I'm now going to, yes, of course. I have to introduce you to the current Taos Poet Laureate, Miguel Santos-David. Just by a show of hands, did anybody get to go to the storytelling section last Sunday as part of Paseo? Oh, great. Did anybody get to hear Miguel? Yeah. All right. Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Olivia. She has been the queen madame of this event.
Thank you, Jen. ¡Que viva Taos! ¡Que vivan los cuentos! ¡Que viva la poesía! ¡Que viva linda raza! I am overjoyed. I'm like about to cry because this is my home, and I'm just really, really proud to be Taoseña. Eso. And it is my honor to serve on the board of directors of SOMOS. Since I was a little girl, I used to go listen to cuentos there and pick out my favorite books, and it's just a huge honor to be a part of this organization. And more importantly, to create a space for my beautiful people to raise their voices, to share their stories, and for us to be here, to be resilient. Our theme this year is stories of social justice, and it is not a secret that we struggle from systems of oppression that silence our voices and gentrify our community and push La Raza into the fringes and build upon agricultural land and take away acequia rights. And we are here today to be in resilience and celebration of our culture and who we are. Él es Dios, manita. And that is a testimony of such beauty. And these stories today are an example of that we're going to be here now and for centuries in the future. And so thank you all for supporting us tonight, for supporting local tellers, find your local bookstore. If you haven't been to Somos, please go down and have a little librito, have a cafe with Jan.
Oh, yes, and if you didn't get a blue ticket,
Yes.
you can get one down there. You can exchange it for a free book of your choice. And also, we have a donation basket. That helps cover the cost of the food.
Yes.
So whatever you can give is great.
And if you can give the mano to my mom and my dad, because without them and without my partner, I couldn't do this. Oh, no, please don't apologize. Okay, well, to get us grounded, again, before I keep crying, because I don't really get emotional, but today's a beautiful day. I'm really happy. But to really just bless us and set the intention for this space, I'm going to have Roberto Lavadi do a prayer and an invocation just to get us started this evening. Roberto?
¡Que Dios, Olivia! Muy santa y buenas tardes. Le debo mi tata a Dios a todos. Thank you for coming.
Put it near your mouth.
It's,
Put it near your mouth. There you go.
yeah, to me, it seems that old people are always the ones that get asked to do stuff like this. So here I am. Buenas tardes, le de Dios. Aunque no me siento digno te doy gracias, Olivia, por el honor de comenzar esta tarde con oración, pidiéndole a mi tata Dios, el Dios de cada quien presente, que sea un tiempo humildemente divertido, con alegría, amor y respeto. As we gather here tonight, que nuestros sentidos y corazones estén abiertos para compartir y recibir las historias y vidas de los que tan graciosamente ser participantes y mayormente ser parte de esta plática. Que no tomemos ventaja, that we do not take for granted quiénes somos, de dónde venimos y para dónde vamos. Tener en nuestros corazones y nuestras almas recuerdos de este día que ya nos pasó, por la noche que nos espera, for the power of the sun, the beauty of each day and the night to rest, for our community, for those who make it what it is, for the food, por el pan que vamos a quebrar para alimentar a nuestros cuerpos. Últimamente, dándole gracias a nuestros antepasados por la querencia que nos dieron, la querencia que nos enseñaron, que cada uno de nosotros solos y en comunidad podamos mantener y guardar esa querencia en paz y en armonía. Así sea.
Gracias.
Thank you, Roberto. My little story is that Roberto has blessed me when I began to dance chichimeca, and even with the comanchitos here in Ranchos de Taos. Roberto has made my traje and has blessed me with his hands so that I can continue my cultural obligations and my ceremonies to keep dancing. And so thank you, Roberto, for praying for us and for everything you do to uplift our spiritual community. Thank you. All right, are you ready to hear some stories? Are you ready to laugh and have a beautiful time? I don't want to catch you crying too early. Good. Well, we're going to start with our first storyteller, and let me find their bios because they are very acclaimed, so I don't want to forget that. We're going to begin with the beautiful Paulette Atencio. She is a master bilingual storyteller for over 20 years. She was born and raised in the community of Peñasco, New Mexico, and has lived parts of her life in Chama. She has published a collection of authentic stories and cuentos, titled Cuentos from Long Ago and Cuentos of My Childhood. Let's see, there's more here. Legends and Folk Tales of Northern New Mexico. Her most recent publication is Pieces of My Broken Life. Throughout the years, her stories have intrigued the young and old and come largely through memorable experiences of listening to her mother's stories, full of comedy, romance, tragedy, and even witchcraft. Her stories focus on New Mexico traditions and what it means to be of Hispanic descent. Let us give a round of applause to to our master storyteller, Paulette Atencio.
Thank you so much, everybody. It is a real honor and a privilege to be with all of you this evening. For the people that do not know me, my name is Paulette Atencio. And I know that we don't have a lot of time because we have to stay on schedule. But the story or the cuento that I'm going to relate to you this evening is called Dancing with a Ghost. And a long time ago, in a very far away pueblo, there was this young man, and he had just come back from the armed forces, and he heard that there was a dance, and so he went and he got himself all ready, and he went and he got in his old beat-up troquita, and there he was driving through a dusty and a dirty road. And all of a sudden, he looked to the side of the road, and there was a girl, and she was hitching a ride. Anyway, he looked, and he slammed on the brakes, and he looked. He rolled down his window, and he said, "Where are you going, my friend?" And she said, "Well, I heard that there is a dance, and the dance is my destiny." And the young man said, "Well, that is where I'm going. Come, I'll give you a ride." And when they were driving, they didn't talk a lot. They mostly exchanged names. And her name was Crucita Delgado. And when they got into the dance hall, Crucita was looking at everything as though she had never seen it before. Everywhere she kept looking. And she was staring at all the people, one by one. And she didn't recognize them. And all the people were looking at her in return. They knew who the soldier was, but they didn't know who the young, beautiful girl was. And her hair was combed way up high in a Gatsby hairdo. And she was wearing a long black dress with a high collar and a cameo pin. And her shoes were black, and they would just tie upwards, and they looked just like those shoes that the elders had worn long ago. Well, then the music started playing, and the soldier, he wanted to show her off. "Ande Maria, que vamos a bailar." And Maria would say, no, quiero bailar. "Anda Maria, para eso vinimos a bailar, vente." And he started to pull her, and he pulled her here, and he pulled her there, and he pulled her everywhere. And a few fast turns, and pow, down she went. And the soldier, he was so embarrassed, and the people were trying hard not to laugh at her. And the soldier, he went and he picked her up, and they went outside. And they stayed there for a while, and then they came back in. And this time, the music was all different, and it was music from long ago. Oh, and Maria, she was so excited, and she could not contain herself. "Anda, soldado, que vamos a bailar, vente, vamos a bailar." No, quiero bailar. "You just fell down. You mean to say you want to go fall again?" Oh, but she didn't care. "Anda, soldado, que vamos a bailar. Anda, soldado." And the music played, and they danced, and pretty soon they made a big circle around her, and she became the belle of the dance. But then the dance was coming to an end, and the musicians started playing the Home Sweet Home, and that meant that the dance was coming to an end. And when they were going outside, the soldier went and he placed his trench coat over Maria's shoulders. And Maria went and said, "I don't want you to take me all the way home. I want you to drop me off at the same place where you picked me up." And so that is what they did. But all night long, the soldier, he didn't sleep. And he tossed and he turned and he said, I think I'm in love. The next morning he got up and he drove his old beat up troquita. And he kept looking, but he could not even see a house. So he went walking, and pretty soon he saw this old adobe house, and there was smoke that was coming out of the chimney. And he went and he started knocking and knocking, but nobody answered. So he knocked some more, and then an old lady came to the door. What do you want? And the soldier said, oh, Senora, I am looking for Maria. And the old lady said, go away, go away. Why, oh, why are you trying to scare me? Maria doesn't live here anymore. And the soldier said, ay, con perdón de usted, señora, but I don't want to scare you. Those are not my intentions. You know, last night I met Maria, and she was not only the most beautiful girl that I had ever seen, but she was the best dancer, and all I want is to see her again. So the old lady said, come with me. There is something that I want to show you. And the soldier said, where, oh, where is she taking me? But he didn't dare to ask. And then he knew they were at the cemetery. And the soldier, he started looking around, and he saw his trench coat, and he was draped over a headstone. And very slowly he went and he removed it, and he began to read Maria Delgado, the date that she had been born and the date that she had died. And the soldier, he cried, because for the first time he realized that all night long he had been dancing with a ghost.
She is a PhD, born and raised in northeastern New Mexico. She received her doctorate degree in Spanish sociolinguistics at the age of 46 and taught in Las Cruces, New Mexico, Corpus Christi, Texas, and the University of New Mexico. She received and coordinated the Savin Yulibari Spanish Heritage Program for 12 years. After retirement as an entrepreneur, Gonzalez established the Bilingual Strategies Language Institute. She offers Spanish conversation classes for adults in Albuquerque. Maria Dolores continues to be passionate about the preservation of Spanish in Nuevo Mexico, creative writing projects, photography, traveling, and swimming. Dr. Gonzalez shares her childhood memories in her recently released creative nonfiction memoir, Atop of the Windmill, I Could See Forever. And that's also on the back table for sale. Please give a warm round of applause to Maria Gonzalez.
Muchísimas gracias, Olivia, por invitarme. Thank you, Olivia is great. That's all I'm going to say about it. After statehood in 1912, I want to give you a little information of what I'm going to read. After statehood in 1912, there was a shortage of teachers, especially bilingual teachers throughout the state of New Mexico. Teaching certificates were awarded to Nuevo Mexicanos, both women and men, who were native Spanish speakers who had graduated from high school and were fluent in English. So when my mother, Carlota Gonzalez, graduated at the age of 18, May of 1928 from Roy High School, which was originally Laguna Negra Village, she was awarded a teaching certificate. She was assigned to a one-room school, 1st through 8th grades in Cerro, New Mexico, 200 miles away from her hometown. The story I share with you tonight is an excerpt of a longer version. My 4 sisters and I listened to it, no solo una vez, pero un montón de veces. So, buenas tardes a todos, bienvenidos. Yo soy Carlota González. Me gustaría compartir con ustedes un cuentito de mi experiencia como maestra en la escuelita de Cerro. Cuando el director me dijo que iba a enseñar en Cerro, cerca de Taos, me dieron ganas de llorar. No quería dejar a mi familia, pero no me quedaba otra. Tenía que soportar a mi madre. Mi papá había muerto de la influencia en 1918, cuando yo tenía solo 11 años. Mi madre limpiaba casas para las americanas al otro lado de la placita. Lavaba suelos por rodilla, lavaba ropa en el cajete y planchaba con planchas de hierro. Ganaba 50 centavos por día. Y por esa razón, ni modo, podía rajarme. Acepté el certificado y me fui a casa a darles las noticias a mi familia. La segunda semana de agosto llegó el día de salir a Cerro. Me eché a llorar a baba suelta, limpiándome los mocos en el paño blanco que me había dado mi novio, Canuto, el día antes de salir. Después de despedirme de mi mamá y mis hermanitos, Eloy, Andreita, Pablita y Elisa, me subí al carro de mi tío Alfonso y nos fuimos. Lloré casi todo el camino hasta Mora. Mi tío Alfonso trató de animarme con chistes de Don Cacahuate y Doña Cebolla. Poco a poco dejé de llorar. Cuando llegamos a Mora, el señor que llevaba el correo a Taos me dio un ride. Me quedé por 2 noches con mi tío Claudio y mi tía Beatriz antes de seguir a Cerro. Como era la primera vez que había dejado a mi familia, sentía un enorme hueco en el corazón. Pero esos 2 días sentados me bajó el desconsuelo. No había visto a mi prima hermana Graciela desde que teníamos los 12 años. Pasamos 2 días y noches desveladas, hablando de nuestros novios y riéndonos de tonterías. Cuando llegué a Cerro, me esperaba la señora Montoya con quien iba a vivir. Me llevó a mi cuarto, desempaqué mis belices, llorando calladitamente. Después de la cena, ayudé con la limpieza de la cocina. La señora Montoya me contó del pueblito, de los vecinos y de la plebe. También me aconsejó en voz bajita: no aceptes comida de desconocidos, porque uno nunca sabe, podrían ser brujos. Varias personas se han enfermado, sospechamos que los han embrujado. En mi pueblito de Laguna Negra también se hablaba de brujas, pero yo nunca les prestaba atención. El estar tan lejos de mi familia me entró un miedo espantoso. El siguiente día llegué a la escuelita temprano. La puerta estaba abierta, pero no había nadie. Me puse a investigar. Había 20 asientos, 2 mesitas, un fogón de leña, una pizarra negra y un escritorio grande. Me mataban los nervios, ya que solo había recibido 2 semanas de entrenamiento sobre la enseñanza. Nos inculcaron la idea que teníamos que hablar solo inglés con los estudiantes. No se permitía español en la clase, ni una sola palabra. Me cayó de patada. ¿Qué iba a hacer? De repente llegó el principal. Buenos días, Ángel de Dios. Tú debes de ser Carlota, nuestra maestra. Buenos días, Ángel de Dios, señor García. Sí, soy Carlota González. El director, muy serio, me quedó mirando. Me avisaron que era joven, pero no esperaba una niña. La palabra de niña me pegó como agua helada. Se me subió la mostaza. Aunque quería gritarle, no soy niña, me tragué en la rabia. Mi mamá me había enseñado a respetar a los mayores, así que saqué mi certificado de enseñanza de la bolsa y le entregué. Ay, lo siento, es que esperaba a alguien por más edad. No sé si te contaron, pero algunos de tus estudiantes tienen 16 años, casi la misma edad que tú. Con esta noticia me dieron ganas de regresarme a Laguna Negra, pero ya me había comprometido cuando firmé el contrato. Mi madre dependía de mí, así ni modo. Puse buena cara y le aseguré al señor García que yo podía cumplir con ser maestra de esta escuelita. Con mucha confianza le dije, tengo 2 hermanos mayores y me han enseñado cómo defenderme. Además, estoy segura que si hay problemas, usted me ayudará a resolverlos. Se sonrió y me dio la mano. ¡Ay, tienes chispa! Bienvenida al cerro, señorita Carlota. Será un placer trabajar contigo. Es obvio que tienes la pasión y lo que se requiere para ser buena maestra. Yo estoy aquí para ayudarte. Empiezas mañana a las 8:30. Caminé hacia la casa Montoya dándole gracias a Tatita Dios, que todo había salido bien. No podía creer lo que había logrado. Quizás así es la vida cuando no hay otra salida. O como dicen en mi pueblo, con los golpes se aprende. Saqué el pañuelo blanco de canuto de mi bolsa y me limpié el sudor de la frente. En Cerro no había americanos. La mayoría de los habitantes no hablaban inglés. Yo sabía que mi trabajo era bastante importante. En poco tiempo, los estudiantes, así como los papás, me adoraban. Aunque el entrenamiento me obligaba que hablara solo inglés en el salón, cuando me daban las ganas, hablaba español. No se me había olvidado que a mis compañeros habían recibido nalgadas o habían sido castigados cuando se les salía el español o cuando decían church en vez de church. Mi modo de enseñar era sencillo. Presentaba las lecciones en inglés y reforzaba el contenido en español. El castigo ni se me ocurrió. Decía entre mí, no, ¿cómo puede una maestra pensar en castigar a estas criaturas? Pero no crean que todos los estudiantes eran criaturas inocentes. Los dos muchachos en el grado 8, que tenían 16 años, eran bien traviesos. Les gustaba hacer trampas a los niños menores y jugar trucos a las muchachas. Un día, Jesús y Epifanio llegaron tarde a clase. Entre sus risotadas, hicieron varias excusas por su tardanza. Los ignoré y los puse inmediatamente a hacer la tarea del día. De repente el salón se llenó con gritos. Los niños menores corrieron hacia mi escritorio. En ese momento vi una culebra gruesa deslizándose bajo las mesitas. Levanté la voz al cielo y les grité a los niños que me siguieran afuera. Estaba bien furiosa cuando regresé al salón. Ya para entonces, Jesús y Epifanio habían atrapado la víbora y la habían echado por la ventana. Me calmé un poco y me acordé de lo que los padres me habían dicho el primer día de clase. Si mi hijo o hija se porta mal y recibe castigo de usted, también va a recibir castigo en casa. Así que no me quedó otro remedio. Jesús y Epifanio habían asustado a los otros niños y merecían castigo. Ay, Diosito. Les mandé a los muchachos que se doblaran sobre la mesa donde se leían los cuentos. Y les di 5 nalgadas bien duras a cada uno con una cuarta. Cuando dejaron de lloriquear, les dije, quiero que sepan que a mí me dolió más que a ustedes. Jesús y Epifanio eran los primeros y los últimos en recibir nalgadas bien merecidas ese año en la escuelita de Cerro. De ese día adelante se transformaron en angelitos. And not to leave out the non-Spanish speaking guests here, I have a short cuento in English that I will read English and Spanish. Bolitas de lana. Ay, cómo me gustaba despertar temprano y ver los rayos del sol entrar por la ventana. Me fascinaban las bolitas de lana suspendidas en el aire. Me quedaba viéndolas en el estado hipnótico. Era fascinante su movimiento mágico. Nunca se caían sobre mi cara o en la cama. Era imposible sostenerlas en la mano o interrumpir su vuelo. ¿Qué tienes, hormigas en tus calzones o qué? Estate quieta. Grandma said to me as I moved around on my side of the bed, trying to catch the bolitas of lana, the dust particles that streamed down from the sunlit window. Grandma was not an early riser. She liked to sleep late. And once the sun glared at us, she covered our heads with the blankets, and I resisted, but to no avail. ¿Por qué, Grandma? ¿Por qué tengo que cobijarme la cara? Ya despertó el sol y quiero levantarme. No quiero dormir más. Por favor, Grandma, quiero jugar con las bolitas de lana. What I really wanted to tell her was that I didn't like to cover my head because then I would have to listen to her snore and smell the sour air that she blew out of her mouth with each breath she took. But I didn't say that. It was best to just cover my head and pretend to be asleep instead of being scolded. Grandma wasn't anything like Abuelita Versailles. Mother would always tell my sisters and me, su abuela Polonia es como una fuerza del viento. Su carácter es fuerte y no tiene pelos en la lengua. Dice lo que quiere y nadie le da contra. Mother was right. Abuela Apollonia was a force to be reckoned with. Abuela didn't like me, Mother would say. She didn't want your father to marry me because my family was poor. Mother choked up when she said that. During those weeks when I stayed with Abuela and Abuelito Canuto in Santa Fe, I made sure I stayed out of her way. But when she wasn't looking, I liked to watch her move about in the house, or when we went to visit the neighbors. She was tall, flaquita, con ojos verdes, that glared at me when she was upset. She wore her hair braided and wrapped around her head. She was beautiful. I remember she always wore belted flower dresses, the skirt dancing side to side as she walked gracefully, with her head held high as if she owned the world. I suppose that's why people in our community referred to her as Doña Pole. Or maybe it was because she had married Abuelito Don Canuto, a wealthy landowner, well-liked and respected by everyone. But Mother would say, su abuela piensa que es una reina porque su familia tiene dinero. Well, maybe that's why she acted like a queen, but I knew different. I slept with her. She snored and had bad breath early in the morning.
Thank you, Maria. That was wonderful. Give another round of applause for Maria. I also want to take a moment and thank the Talpa Community Center. This is a very beautiful historic space. This is our old escuelita that many that grew up here maybe went to school here. And this is where we have our mercado. I also want to take a moment to recognize that we have an elected official in the house. I want to thank Corilia Ortega, who's on the town council. She is here tonight, and my buddy on the Aceca, and we're always farming together, so I love you. Thank you for all your support. Well, I'm also really excited to introduce Miss Laura Manzanares from Tierra Maria. She is a bilingual singer-songwriter from Tierra Maria in northern New Mexico. She grew up singing the traditional New Mexico boleros, rancheras, and corridos of her sheep ranching childhood, and composes her own style of music in both English and Spanish. Through a combination of storytelling and songs, both playful and sincere, Laura draws on her roots as she sings about love, loss, a sense of place, and her own connection to the land. Following on her well-received first album, Land Baby, she is releasing a new album in 2025. When she's not out singing or helping on the ranch, you can find Laura on her Rio Grande loom, weaving tapestries with yarn from her family's churro sheep. Me and Laura also will be performing this winter at the National Cowboy Poetry Festival. So put your hands together for Miss Laura Manzanares.
Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me okay on the mic? Yes. All right. I'm going to do a couple of, well, it depends how much time I have. But I'm going to start with a historical song that I didn't write, and actually no one knows who wrote it. And it's called El Corrido de la Votación. It was passed down through oral tradition and family around here, around Taos. There's a recording in the early 1960s with Jenny Vincent and Isabel Cordova singing this song. And in the early 2000s, Enrique Lamadrid from UNM, he recorded Isabel's granddaughter, Kirina Cordova de Medina, singing this song a cappella, so it means no music, no accompaniment. And a couple of years ago, there's lots of names here. A couple of years ago, Carmela Scorcia Pacheco was doing her, I think, doctoral thesis on the history of women and women's rights in New Mexico. And she approached Jordan Wax of Lone Pinon and myself and Tanya Nunez and asked us if we could arrange this song with music. So we did. And so here it is. Well, let me read for those of you who don't speak Spanish, real quick. Here's what it says. El corrido de la votación. In the year of 1844, just beginning, okay, so note that before I sing. It says in the year of 1844, just beginning, the right to vote is conceded to women. So if you know your history, you know that in the United States, that didn't happen in 1844. That was, much later. And so that's kind of the only mystery of this song is why does it say 1844? It could be just that it was passed down through oral history and things kind of change and you put what rhymes, Another theory, though, is that perhaps the author wanted to reference the time frame when New Mexico was actually a state in the Republic of Mexico between 1821 and 1846. During that time, women could inherit and own land and property, they could work and earn money, and they could fight in court. And when this became part of the United States, those rights were taken away and they had to fight for them again in the United States suffrage movement. So maybe that's why they said 1844. In the year of 1844, just beginning, the right to vote is conceded to women. The American government, in all its wisdom, has conceded to women the right to citizenship. The women are gathering and starting to talk. Comadrita de mi vida, the election will be won. The women already gathered to make a women's club. They changed their candidates, even for a woman governor. The women are gathering and starting to talk. They abandon their chores and they go to vote. Friends have shared their thoughts about all those married men who cannot complain anymore to the government of the states. Friends have shared their thoughts about all those married men who cannot complain anymore to the government of the states. The day of the elections, all the men gathered together to watch the women vote, as it was quite a sight. They already want to drive trains and manage offices, so their husbands can stay behind and govern the kitchen. The government of the state put forth a new law saying that each man may be governed by his woman. Take up your office, secretaries and justices of the peace. Change your women candidates and sigh for everyone else. Take up your office, secretaries and justices of the peace. President, engineer, and sigh for everyone else. This last verse is a modern addition. We added this last verse. To all the guys who aren't into it, kindly don't get in the way. We're all going into battle and we have no time to waste.
Yes,
Originally, the final verse said something about ¿pa qué quieren madera con ganchos de pantalón or something? We thought, no, we need to update that last verse. All right. Año de 1844 al entrar, se concede a las mujeres el derecho de votar. Gobierno americano, por tener sabiduría, les concede a las mujeres derecho a ciudadanía. Ya se juntan las mujeres machos que no se animen, tengan bondad de no estorbar. Ya vamos todas a la lucha, no hay tiempo que esperar. Ya vamos todas a la lucha, no hay tiempo que esperar. Thank you very much. That song originated in this area, so you should be very proud. I'm going to do another one. How much time do I have still? All right. All right. This is another historical one. I guess my set today is kind of going to be about people who maybe didn't have a voice back in the day. This is an Indita de Plácida Romero. The genre, I guess you could call it, of Inditas generally were sung or written by women about women's lives. Lots of times they were about women who were captured. There was lots of capturing going on in the building of New Mexico, in the building of who we are and what we are right now. There were lots of kids and children who were stolen and traded, and it's kind of complicated, to put it mildly. So anyway, this is the Indita de Plácida Romero, and it takes place out near Cubero. And I guess she's the one that wrote it. I guess she's the author, Plácida Romero. And I'll do the English first again. The day of St. Lawrence was a powerful day when they took me captive and killed my husband. In the year of 81, close to 10 in the morning, that's when it was, I think, when this happened to us, when they killed my husband and the man named Jesus Maria. Farewell, I'll be gone, gone into suffering. Farewell, my beloved daughters. When will I see you again? Farewell, La Cebolla Ranch. Why have you turned away? The trees, the rocks are weeping to see me go into captivity. Farewell, my famous Cubero. Your bravery was finished. Maybe your ammunition was gone, or your people failed you. Farewell, I'll be gone, gone into suffering. Farewell, my beloved daughters. When will I see you again? Manuelita, the oldest, take care of your little sisters. They have lost all of our warmth. They were left orphans. Farewell, town of Cubero. Farewell, my house and my home. Farewell, walls and corners. Farewell, Mother Marucasia. Farewell, finest little mother. May you remember my grief. Farewell, Domingo Gallegos. Farewell, fine companion. Perhaps you had no brothers nor relatives here in Cubero, since your bones remained in a sad chicken house. In the mountains of Galeana, where there my days of captivity ended. What I realized was that what I was seeing were people. I said to my little companion, "Don't stray from me, do you hear, Procopio Garcia?" I got to Ojito Salado and started looking to see if I could see my father or brother coming. Also to see if my brother Cayetano was coming. My Lady of Light was the one who reigns in Cubero, asking of the Holy Child my escape from captivity. So. El día de San Lorenzo era un día poderoso que me llevaron cautiva y mataron a mi esposo. El año de 81, cerca de las 10 del día, así sería, yo pienso, cuando esto no sucedía, que mataron a mi esposo y al hombre Jesús María. Adiós, ya me voy a padecer. Adiós, mis queridas hijas, cuando les volveré a ver. cebolla, porque te muestras esquiva, los palos, las piedras lloran de verme salir cautiva. Adiós, cubero afamado, se te acabó lo valiente, quizás no tenías parque o te ha faltado la gente. Adiós, ya me voy a padecer. Adiós, mis queridas hijas, cuando les volveré a ver. Manuelita la mayor, cuida de tus hermanitas, que ya les faltó el calor, se quedaron huerfanitas. Adiós, plaza de Cubero, adiós, mi hogar y mi casa, adiós, paderes y esquinas, adiós, madre Marucasia. Adiós, madrecita fina, duelete de mi desgracia. Adiós, ya me voy a padecer. Adiós, mis queridas hijas, cuando les volveré a ver. Adiós, Domingo Gallegos, adiós, fino compañero. Quizás no tenías hermanos ni parientes en Cubero, que se quedaron tus huesos en un triste gallinero. En la sierra de Guyana, ahí terminaron mis días, lo que reconocí que era gente la que veía. Le dije a mi compañero, no te retires de mí, hoy es Procopio García. Llegué al ojito salado y me puse a revisar, a ver si veía venir a mi padre o a mi hermano. También si veía venir a mi hermano Caetano. Mi señora de la luz fue la que reina en Cubero, pidiéndole al santo niño que salga del cautiverio. Adiós, ya me voy a padecer. Adiós, mis queridas hijas, cuando les volveré a ver. One more song in my set here, and this is finally an original song. And this song is, it's a little, well, you'll see. Yeah, it's kind of a sensitive topic here in New Mexico, but I figured, well, Taos is the home of the Pueblo Revolt, so dale gas. Dale vuelo. They took the big man down. They took the big man down. He lost his silver crown the day he hit the ground. They took the big man down.
here and all of our cautivos and our culture here in Taos as a Genízaro community here in Ranchos de Taos is really important. And as we continue to dance our dances and sing our songs, may we honor those women who are captive. And they're the reason why we're here today. So thank you, Laura, for bringing consciousness into the space for our mujeres. We have a young student that's going to read next, and then we're all going to break for dinner. So please hold on. I know you're all hungry. We have some beautiful food to share and some cornbread to enjoy. But I first want to thank Laura Damon Kerr, our teacher from Taos High School. She's the Spanish teacher. Please stand up. And Miss Laura is doing a powerful job of honoring the heritage language here in Taos, and we have all of our students here in the back. Thank you. And it's an important reminder about the importance of our language and how we must continue to cultivate our semillas of our lengua. And so thank you, Laura, for teaching and holding space for our next generation speakers. We really appreciate you. So I have a bio for our students, so give me one moment, I will introduce them. Before intermission, we have Alexis Fernandez, and this is the bio that they shared. Soy Alexis Fernández y yo crecí en Taos, Nuevo México. Yo atendí a la escuela Inos García para mi primera, Taos Middle School para mi intermedia y ahora voy a Taos High School, mi preparatoria. A mí me gustaría ir a la escuela Santa Fe School for the Arts and Sciences. Yo quiero estudiar pintorea y diseño de moda. También me gustaría estudiar negocio en UNM. Lo más importante para mí es hacer lo que me haga feliz y nunca olvidar quién soy. Please give a warm welcome to Alex Fernandez.
Hola, buenas tardes. Yo soy Alexis Fernández y hoy voy a contar una historia que me ha contado mi abuela. No es como historia, es más como entrevista. Hola. Ay, ya dije eso. Yo le he marcado a mi abuela para avisarle que iba a estar aquí y que le iba a hacer una entrevista. En la voz de mi abuela. En ese entonces la vida era muy hermosa. Los niños eran muy saludables y no había malas intenciones ni querer de mucho dinero. Ahora los niños solo quieren el teléfono. Los niños eran respetuosos y bien comportados. Y la casa. Yo crecí en una casa muy chiquita hecha de adobe. En Chihuahua, México. Era una casa de adobe que construimos nosotros. Antes los niños éramos muy inocentes y no teníamos intenciones malas. Nosotros éramos muy bonitos y éramos respetuosos. Yo y mis hermanos jugábamos con juguetes que hacíamos o encontrábamos como rocas y palos porque no teníamos para juguetes caros. La escuela. Yo caminaba de mi casa hasta la escuela como 20 cuadras. Pero en ese entonces no tenía que preocuparnos por delincuencia. Me apuraba para llegar a la escuela porque me regañaban si llegaba tarde. Yo iba a una escuela de monjas a donde todas las maestras eran muy estrictas. No podíamos comportarnos mal ni reírnos porque nos pegaban en la mano. Así aprendimos buenos modales y aprendimos cómo respetar a los mayores y a todos. Después de la escuela me apuraba para llegar a la casa porque si llegaba un minuto tarde de la escuela, mi madre me pegaba. En ese entonces los padres eran muy conservativos y no aceptaban mucho. La casa y la economía. Para comer mi mamá siempre nos preparaba tortillas de maíz y de harina. Nos hacía caldos de papa, sopas y también... Me perdí. Es ok. Y también... frijoles. Mi mamá nos mandaba a vender tamales, barbacoa y tortillas para hacer dinero. No podíamos salir porque no nos dejaban. Y yo era muy feliz en ese entonces. La vida de ahora, se acabaron los valores que habían antes. La vida era hermosa, todos eran más amables, buena gente y no había tanta malicia. Era una vida más tranquila, no como ahora. Ahora los niños solamente quieren el teléfono. Ya ni la tele prestan atención los niños. Ya no mejor el teléfono y no más. Ya la tecnología está muy avanzada. Ahora también la gente quiere hacer menos a los demás. Aquí todos somos iguales y tenemos los mismos valores. Los padres a veces no pueden dar todo y los niños no saben apreciar los grandes esfuerzos de los padres. Yo digo que tenemos que estar siempre agradecidos con lo que tenemos porque uno nunca sabe lo que puede pasar. La vida solamente está prestada. Desde mi propio punto de vista, mine, ¿ok? Desde mi propio punto de vista, viviendo aquí en Taos, también estoy de acuerdo que la vida solamente está prestada. Yo digo que la vida todavía es muy hermosa. Aunque la vida es poco más peligrosa, los niños todavía aman otras cosas más que el teléfono. Yo digo que también tiene mucho que ver los padres de enseñarle a sus hijos otras cosas que no sean el teléfono. Sí. Yo digo que también tiene mucho que ver los padres en enseñarle a sus hijos otras cosas que no sean el teléfono, como salir a convivir con sus hijos, jugar a los juegos que ustedes jugaron de niños. La casa. Yo crecí en una casa, no era muy grande, pero no era muy chiquita. Yo siempre he tenido un cuarto para mí mismo. En mi casa todavía tenemos valores y mis padres me han enseñado cómo ser amable y tratar a toda la gente con respeto. Aunque no tenga que vender comida como mi abuela, y no tuve que trabajar tan duro, yo fui muy afortunado de tener una buena familia que me enseñó a valorar a la gente y trabajar duro. Ayuda en la casa cuando mi mamá o papá están trabajando o cuando mi mamá me pide. Lavar ropa también es un trabajo duro. Cuando hay 4 personas en una casa y con un hijo que le gusta vestirse en múltiples prendas de ropa, no es fácil. La escuela. En la escuela mi abuela dice que les enseñaron mejor, pero yo creo que pegándoles no iba a ser nada mejor. En la escuela ahora hay unos niños que no quieren aprender, pero sí hay muchos que sí y hacen su mejor esfuerzo. Ahora la vida todo depende en ti y lo que tú quieras hacer. La educación es una parte valiosa y no debería ser desapreciada. La comida y la economía. Ahora mi mamá todavía nos hace lo que le hicieron a mi abuela, como caldos, sopas y papas. Pero sí le hemos añadido como frito pies, enchiladas y chile rojo y también menudo. La economía todavía sigue siendo poco difícil, pero mi familia no es muy pobre, pero tampoco no somos ricos. Pero nos alcanza para todo lo que necesitamos y lo que tenemos. Y queremos, La vida ahora sigue bonita. Aunque haya más delincuencia, la vida todavía puede ser disfrutada y apreciada. Pero la diferencia de ahora, hay más opciones. Por ejemplo, puedes ir a la escuela y se puede encontrar un trabajo con más facilidad. Y también en las escuelas hay clases que sirven como doble crédito para la universidad, como la clase de señora Laura. Hay que disfrutar todo el tiempo que tenemos, porque la vida solamente está prestada. Muchas gracias a todos por escucharme. Thank you.
Qué round of applause for Alexis. Muchísimas gracias. all for staying. We still have some lovely tellers that are gonna come up here. So we're gonna open the space with Mr. Roberto Lavadi. Roberto is a native Tauseño. Yeah, give him a round of applause. Roberto is a legend. He is a renowned santero and leather worker for approximately 30 years. He was featured on national television, trade journals, and magazines, and it has a permanent collection in the Millicent Rogers Museum here in Taos, and also the Taylor Museum in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Some of his works include the altar screen at the Cathedral Basilica in Santa Fe, and the Santo of Jesus Cristo that hangs at the altar of Our Lady of Guadalupe Church here in Taos. He has also carved the tabernacle for the church at Tesuque Pueblo and many more devotional and functional furniture over his career. Mr. Roberto is also an avid hunter and has always a good story or a good corrido to tell. I will tell you, I called him this afternoon and I said, "You'll be there at 5:45, no?" He goes, "For what? I'm over here at the balloon fiesta in Albuquerque." I go, "What do you mean you're in Burke?" He goes, "I'll be coming in my hot air balloon. I'll be there in about 3 hours." So here's Roberto Lavadín.
Santa y buenas tardes, mi tata Dios. Thank you, Olivia, again for my being here. I'm not a storyteller per se. I can tell a story, but a storyteller I am not. I was talking to my eldest daughter the other day, and she got into this thing with genealogy. And she found out that we're part this and part that, and this and that and the other. And I was quiet listening to it all, and I told her, "¿Quién es tu daddy?" I caught her by surprise, and she laughed up the storm. And I go, "Mamita."
I can't hear you back here.
Get closer.
You're going to wish you couldn't hear me. Anyway, a little quick from here in Talpa. I had a cousin, and he told me one time when he was a kid, he and his brother, he lived just down the road over here, and they would go to town, or somehow they would collect money, a nickel or whatever it was, and they would get a sucker, and they'd lick it. What they would do is, Luna Loma, they'd get up on a hill, and one of the guys would be on the sucker licking it and stuff. When the next car came by, he had to give the sucker to his brother. So they were sharing. A veces dijo, y se tardaban los carros para llegar, and he was looking at his brother. But anyway, my story is, it's a good one. It's been a good long life. It started in Ranchitos, okay, which is just west of here, a couple of miles. My mother died when I was 2 years old. I never knew her, but I was fortunate to have my grandparents. Me criaron, ¿no? Y esta es la historia que me estaba acordando. Being a kid, I remember fishing. Siempre andábamos en la trucha del río, pasaba el río por la casa. And I remember my biggest challenge. Tenía un vecino, Manuelito, in Trujillo, and my challenge was to beat him. Every year, there was an opening day then, okay, April 1st or whatever it was. And I would always get up a little bit earlier to beat Manuelito en máquina. Él ya me había ganado, había pescado truchas, you know. I never did beat him. And I remember a story, well, not a story, but one of the first times that I went fishing alone. And I often did, that's what I did. I caught a fish, it must have been the first fish I ever caught. Y tenían un gallo malo. Every time that rooster saw us, he would go after us. Y brincaba con los talones en la panza, ¿no? So ahí vengo yo del río con una trucha y ahí viene el gallo. And I think, game on, what do we do here? No. So I started running, and there I go to the house. He thought that was me. I beat him, you know. I never had to do anything, but another time fishing, I was telling Elaine, I remember I don't know if it was the first communion or whatever it was, I was all prim and proper, bien bañadito, bien chaneadito, ¿no? Y me dicen, mamá y papá dijeron, no te vas a ir al río. The first thing I ever did was, I was always at the river. No te vas a ir al río. So I was all dressed up, white shirt, black pants, whatever it was. Y se fueron para la plaza. I watched the car leave. La primera cosa que hice, lombrices en la bolsa, camisa blanca. Me fui para el río. I don't even think I had a reel. The first fishing rod I ever had, my dad made for me out of an aerial from a car, an antenna radio, and he put a reel and stuff like that. That was my first fishing rod. I didn't have that. I had another one que estaba quebrado, una hora quebrada. They left, and the first thing I did, me eché un bistec, me fui para el río, y una vez chillado para la puente hermano Tomás Cruz. That's what we call, there's a bridge there. And I'm fishing. David was there, my primo. And in those days, we called little chubs, I guess, eran sardinas, ¿no? Y viene David, me están picando, primo. Le digo, no, eran sardinas nomás. Cuando, prende una. It was a big fish. It ended up being about 18-inch German brown. My primo David got the rod from me, pushed me aside, and he just brought it in like this, okay? I got the fish, went home, temblando. ¿Qué no te dijimos que no fueras al río? Te dije, Anyway, we went to our function, whatever it was, and prayed, and I can't remember exactly if it was First Communion or what. Pero with a capital P, I got back, the fish was gone, andaba unos tíos, ahí se la comieron toda. Okay, that was fishing, parts of that. Another thing we did a lot, we'd hunt. Con Egipto, íbamos para Loma. And I had another friend, Julián Sandoval. We were always together, Steve Trujillo, David, andaba ahí. Nos íbamos para Loma con Egipto, and I remember Julián didn't have a gun. We all had our 22s and stuff. El Julián llevaba un alambre. For barbed wire, what we would do is get the wires and flay them out, okay? We get to it, where the rabbit holes were, and use it like a crank, okay? And the wire goes down, and all of a sudden the wire's doing this. Y luego con la puya del alambre se tejía el animal. It was kind of cool, you know? But they were pretty good eating. So, okay, and I was getting ready for this, and I thought, how in the heck do you talk? You're not a storyteller, you tell stories, and I'm taking notes on my own life, huh? Oh, lucky. Okay, the games. Okay, games. We used to play games in the summer. Con la navajita. Navaja is a knife, okay? Little jackknife, whatever. Yeah, agarramos una navaja, and we'd kneel in a circle, and you'd open the blade, and you would get the knife, and you toss it up like this, se clavaba en la tierra. Yeah. Once you get past that, you put it up here, y para arriba, it's a whole
Secrets.
whatever it was. But anyway, you start there, you end up with your chin, and the last part you do, you get the knife, the blade in your mouth, and you toss it like that, and whoever stuck it at that point won the game, okay? Okay, la navajita, another thing we did, marbles, siempre andábamos con la abuelita. Kids in those days had our pockets full of marbles all the time. There was a neighbor, Albert Morga. Él tenía un carro lleno de bolitas que nos ganaba todo, no? He was like the champion guy. And we had our rules for squares, for rounds, and eye drops, and no steelies, and quién sabe qué tanto. We made our own rules as we went along, you know? Another thing we did is we made bows and arrows every spring. Íbamos para arriba de la jarita, and we cut just the perfect jara. We'd make arrows. I remember I'd get chicken feathers and do fletching. I'd get nails from my dad, and I'd flatten them, and I'd make my own arrowheads. Arrowheads is what they were, steel. Nowadays you'd be calling it, ¿cómo se llama?
Broadhead.
Broadhead. Homemade broadhead, yeah. We flatten it out and file it dogs and this and that. Yeah, it was always a good time. Never ate them, so no sé. Honda. What would you call it in English?
Slingshot.
Slingshot, yeah, okay. Always those, and the thing with the Honda, we had a dump that was close to the house. And the thing, we would go and we look for red tubes. There used to be red inner tubes. And we had propio, I mean, that had a good stretch and stuff, and we were always looking for red tube. But quitaron las lenguas a los zapatos, the tongue on your shoes. That would do for putting the rocks in. Cans and bottles and each other, whatever we would do. Okay, there was una Honda remolinera. David and Goliath, okay, the big slingshot. I had one of those, and one night, our neighbor, Mano from Trujillo, the story was, from what they said, was asaltado. I guess they broke windows and they hicieron males, ¿no? A mí me vio Mano Frank el día siguiente con la Honda. First thing he says, tú eres el que andaba haciendo mal. So I was there in sister school, and here comes the sheriff. I want to see Roberto Lavadí, and I look up and I saw, máquina. Oh, shit. So he comes up and says, I understand, I'm ready to puke, and I was nervous. I mean, a kid, trouble with the law, my gosh, 7th grade. So that blew over, no? The same thing, or not the same thing, but sometime later, with Mano Franque again, a friend of mine, with a BB gun, lo compré para la casa. Ven para acá, let's we'll play with our BB guns and stuff. We went behind the house, una despensa que teníamos, and there's some beautiful windows just calling for BBs. Le digo, vamos, las ventanas, al cabo que no está Mano Franque, no. So there we are. The curtains open up. Esa tarde, Mano Franque, vecino, tengo una queja. ¿Qué pasó? Andaban quebrando ventanas. Bueno, no tenga cuidado. ¿Cuánto le debo? No me debe nada, más quería decirle, no. So Mano Franque leaves, and my dad says, tráeme ese rifle. And it was a special one. It had a blonde stock, it had a scope on it, I had a sling on it. I was safari, vamos al elefante, ¿no? Tráeme ese rifle. So I brought it to him, and he got it, and he broke it to pieces in front of me. That hurt. It really hurt. Y esa tarde me dijo, acuéstate. It was, this happened in the afternoon. Bueno, no, acuéstate. So there I am, getting ready for bed, and he walks in with the bell. Yeah. No acuestes, boom, 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 vuelve. No, bueno, ahí se acabó. Okay. One of the neatest things that I think I ever did, and it wasn't very successful, I'll tell you that. Whitey Coyote and who's that other guy? Roadrunner. Okay. Picture that in your mind when they fall, and it goes, and there's a bunch of dust. Okay, here's me in my infinite wisdom. Hoy le robé una sábana a mamá. En unos días, estaba en una tiendita y llevaban los panaderos con este cordón rayado. It's a string, and the kids todos andaban con la bolsa llena de cordón, ¿no? So fui le robé una sábana a mamá, okay? A sheet. I got this string, I tied the corners, I made a parachute. Folded it up, this and that, the other nice and good, put it on my back. We had an outhouse next to a gallinero, next to a garage, next to the dispensa. So dije entre mí, ay, vámonos. So I got my parachute and I ran like hell and I jumped off. The coyote and the roadrunner. I got up, there's dust, I'm brushing myself off, the parachute's still on my back. Lesson on that one, yeah. Talking about, okay, go up the outhouse to get to the okay, El Común outhouse. We didn't have indoor plumbing. It was unheard of. Tenían una olla, the well for drinking water. We would put meat down there in the summer to keep it fresh, to keep the flies off, okay? El Común, tenían el vacín, you know, that was my chore. Limpiar el vacín, oh my goodness, every day that was my chore. But to go out at the outhouse at night to do some business, that was pretty cool. You go up there, you sit down and do your business. No tissue paper. Montgomery Ward catalog. They got a page. Okay. You're ready. You look out the window, out the door. Había la puertecita miraba. I didn't see any. I was in half a second. Miedo del oscuro, no? Okay, the parachute, that was pretty cool. I never tried it again. This is one for the records, okay? Su nieta, hermano Franke, I think his name was Ira, or I forget what his name was, or Frank Jr. We decided we're going to have a cookout, okay? En esos días nada de coca lumbrita con puelas, you know? We had a tree house. We went up on the tree house, hicimos lumbre en el árbol para cocinar. I can't remember what the heck it was that we ate, but we had a fire going in that tree. Okay, I remember when they paved the road there, era camino de tierra, ¿no? Y todo, me acuerdo cuando dijeron pave el camino. The first thing we did as kids, we put taps on our shoes. Y salíamos de noche. We'd go out in the bikes and we drag our heels to big old rooster tails, making smarts. That was a big thing. Y a mi tío Bernardo le robaron the playing cards, we put them on our spokes, sound like motorcycles. All the kids did that, no? Okay, so yeah, pavement, that was, I mean, that was new to us. I had a neighbor, Julián, the same guy that would go on a conejito con el hambre. He had a bike and he didn't have tires on his bike. But now the people from here, you know where Blueberry Hill is. Entonces le llaman la Loma del Kiker. Some Kiker, I guess, owned the property. It was the Loma del Kiker. So Julián and I go up. His bicycle didn't have tires. It had rims, but it didn't have tires. So I almost arriba la Loma del Kiker, you know, all the way up, and we come down. My gosh, get out of the way. And here comes Julián. We get to the bottom, and we had this whole contraption rigged up. We had a rope and a tube, an inner tube from a tire. So we tied a rope to my seat onto the handlebars on his, and I went on that bike and Después he told Julián, one day he was going home, y iba bajando la puente para su casa, y se cayó la bike, and there was some barbed wire, se quedó colgado del cerco. I don't know how long he was there, pero he tenía una cicatriz grande. We were lifelong buddies, you know. Los vecinos, mi tía Sara, I remember, hacía tortillas. She had I don't know, she had a handicap of some sort, and she would do tortillas like this. She would feed us, Mana Maya would feed us And there's a saying they used to say, mi barrio todo me limpiaba en el moco, and it's true. You know, it was a community thing. Éramos gente, nos cuidaban unos a los otros. There was no, they didn't wait. If you needed a spanking, they didn't wait to tell your mom or your dad, de una vez, no. Okay, the springtime would come around, y la hora, colchones, mattress, old wool mattresses. Me acuerdo que los desbaratábamos, ¿no? I mean, wool mattress, we take the mattress apart, take all the wool out and wash it by hand. Y luego tenían un potencio, a canvas, I guess is what it was.
Tarps.
A tarp, there you go. Y echábamos la lana arriba, and the wool would dry in the sun. Y luego en la tarde, la teníamos que airear, what they call airear. We'd get the tarp, and we would do this with it, and the wool would go up, and then we'd get in there with our hands and that. That evening, ya estábamos acostados en una cama nueva, ¿no? Okay. Another thing I remember in the colchones, we would plant a garden, you know. We always had a garden. Tenía que escarlar y quién sabe qué tanto. La cosecha siempre era buena, mamá empacaba de todo. We still can. I mean, those are things that creencia que nos dieron, aprendimos a hacer eso, ¿no? Okay, a ver. School, my favorite. Escuela. I didn't like school as a damn. I still don't. I'm not, you know. My deal with education is if a kid is good at something, if he can play the piano, if he can use a wrench, if he can shear a sheep, let him do that. Get good at that. You know, ABCs, we all have to learn them, yeah. Pero, you know, that's not the whole world. And for me, it wasn't at all. Me acuerdo cuando estaba chiquito, I don't know, but first, second grade, I was supposed to go to school, get the bus. Tenían un chamizo, corría la sequía, toda una lomita para abajo, estaba una sequía, y estaba un chamizo. And what I did is I hid in the chamizo. Todo el santo día en el chamizo. What I did, I don't remember. I know I didn't eat. Yo me quería. Pero después de mediodía venía mi tía Pepa, Papisa's grandmother. And she's going by, and I must have rustled or something like that. She looked down. Mijito, ¿qué andas haciendo ahí? No voy a la escuela. ¿Por qué no? And so she goes in and tells my mom, and I don't remember that I really got in trouble for it, but I didn't go to school. And when I did go to school, me acuerdo, sister school, 7th grade, Sister Brunera. Qué mujercita. You know how we would get in trouble? Speak Spanish, boom, fregazo de una vez. No pueden hablar español. Vuelve inglés. Sister Brunera, I remember. No sé qué me haría decir o qué me dijo o qué, pero with a capital P le tiré el dedo. She didn't see me, but a girl that worked for her did. She told her, Sister Roberto was throwing you the finger, o quién sabe qué. So me dije la hermanita, is it true what Loretta said? And I told her, what? She said, you were making bad signs? I guess. How'd you do it? I said, well, with a pencil, going through here, and I go like this. You know how you take this home to your parents. There's a note. Your son me estaba tirando el dedo. I remember my mom saying, cochino. That was too much, yeah. I got a straight A in that one. Yeah, but then we got into, I mean, that was just grade school growing up. There's many other things that, a la trucha con la mano. The river would go down in the springtime, I mean in the late summer, metíamos al río and we'd fish with our hands, the rocks and stuff down. And everything with lacito, we'd get wire, we'd braid it, and put out a stick, we'd be over the bridges and las rendijas. And there'd be fish swimming. They said, están durmiendo. The fish would just, kind of hover there. We get the lacito and put it over the gills, pull it, and boom, here comes the fish. Now, we had our little techniques, we did a lot of stuff. Un fonazo. After that, I mean, those days you grow up, high school, I didn't like high school either. Ended up in the Navy, went overseas, got back, got married, had wonderful children, wonderful grandchildren now. Yes, they had horses, had cows, had to put horses down, had to pull cows. But it's been a good life, gracias a Dios. Y ahora mi hijo is taking over what I used to do, or still do, pero I'm on his payroll now. Gracias a todos.
It brings me a lot of joy to introduce my manito, Jose Luis Ortiz. Jose Luis is a native Nuevo Mexicano. He resides in his maternal village of San Antonio del Rio Embudo, where he and his family tend crops, care for livestock, and steward their ancestral lands with the Embudo River Basin. Currently, Jose Luis serves as the community liaison and project director at the Sostenga Farm for Food, Agriculture, and Environment at Northern New Mexico College, sharing land-based agricultural knowledge and traditional farming methods. Jose Luis is committed to preserving the culture, customs, and land-based traditions of his Genízaro ancestors. In his free time, he kicks it with me, and he supports systems of community self-governments to empower his people in expressing their sovereignty, willpower. He also serves on the board of Seeds of Common, an indigenous seed organization, is the secretary of the Santa Cruz de la Cañada Land Grant, and is a member of Cosecha del Norte. In addition to that, he is also the community elected mayordomo of his Acequia del Llano en Rio Embudo. Give a warm applause to Jose Luis.
Buenas noches. I'm happy to be here to see some familiar faces. Maestro, thank you for your stories. Mr. Lavadi is a living legend. We're very blessed to be able to share time and space with him. And also Miguel Santisteban, it's good to see you, Maestro. I just want to share a quick poem. I had originally was going to tell a story of Jose El Angelito Gonzalez, an incredible rebel leader of the 1837 Chimayo Rebellion that ultimately culminated into New Mexico being a sovereign nation for a short period of time during or post the Mexican era, pre-colonial era. And I looked that up. It's a really interesting history that's not told in typical New Mexico history, and it really speaks to Northern New Mexico's will to survive and our resilience, and also our indigenous roots, not so Spanish. I love acequias. I love my culture. I come from the Llano de la Yegua in Peñasco all the way to the Valle de Embudo in what they now call Dixon. I'm very proud of my traditional life ways. I come from a farming ranching family. I also come from a hunting family. So Mr. La, these stories were like, it felt very, very at home. I left Northern New Mexico to escape like all locals do. And I landed up at an organization in the South Valley while drug addicted called Los Jardines Institute, and I picked up a book called 500 Years of Chicano and Chicana History. And that book totally changed my life. From that day, I was like, I have to get back home. And it took me 7 years to actually make it back home. Homeless in my own homeland, landless in my own homeland. Those are the realities of northern New Mexican land-based people today. So now I live back home in my maternal village. I bought a piece of land that I was really blessed to be able to have, and I try to teach and develop the next generation of land-based stewards and try to cultivate a relationship with our Anglo communities as a way to get people back into the land as a mardomo. We're not using our land for agricultural purposes. Everything is fallow, and our water is also not being used. We're in a soil health crisis, a community health crisis, and I just always want to raise that flag of trying to encourage people to put their land back into production, so that we can continue to have a thriving, vibrant, land-based, traditional way of living and owning in northern New Mexico. And yeah, I love acequias because they don't discriminate. It's El que pone saca culture. You reap what you sow. It doesn't matter where you come from. As long as you put in, you get to benefit those benefits. So I have a daughter who's 8 years old. I'm a proud father, single father, and I wrote this poem for her. Your love is a winter snowpack preparing for the journey ahead. Espacio, warm, intentional, savory. It's what will become the spring snowmelt, providing passages to traveling panzas coloradas to the source. It's what brings life back from a long, cold, sleepy winter. Your warmth melts my heart, causing the movements that culminate into a spring runoff to remember, crashing, tumbling down canyon walls, washing free lo malo, bringing limpias to valles and to corazones, through veins maintained through generations since time immemorial. It's the presa, guiding that power back to compuertas on a hydraulic masterpiece, making sure that every suerte and every inch of space gets its water. It's that cold, clean agua bendita that delivers the source of life to what your love is, a semilla. Surrounded by carefully cultivated earth, cared for in a way that can only be defined as querencia, herencia, acequia. Your love is a luz de una vela, guiándome a una vida buena y sana para llegar y pagar mis respetos al destino. It's a dream created by ancestros from future moments in times past, celebrating this existence so that you can be my everything, my source, my heart, my acequia, my agua bendita, my lluvia, my tierra, my resistencia. Gracias.
To sit in his carrito and we would throw rolas, man. We would rap, and he has some really good poems. He's dope as heck, so thank you for being here. Well, we're coming to a close, but I'm gonna let Laura Manzanares send us out with some canciones, and I hope you enjoy it.
Okay, hello again. Do we have time for two or one or two?
Just give us two.
Okay, give us two, he says. I'll sing a song, I'll start off with a song of my own. It's, this is a song that, it's actually not my story. It's the story of a friend of mine named Margaret, and she gave me permission to sing this. Her story became this song. She gave me permission to share the song. The song is called Margaret's Dream. And my friend Margaret, she wasn't born in New Mexico, but she's one of those people who keep coming back. You know, people come here to live and then they kind of get frustrated or whatever, and or they get another opportunity and they go somewhere else and then they keep coming back. And Margaret's one of those people. She's very, she's kind of a nomad, but she always comes back to New Mexico. Anyway, I went and stayed at her house one evening, and she told me this story about how she had come back to New Mexico this particular time. And she had been living in Cleveland, Ohio. She had been in a relationship that she wasn't sure whether to pursue or not. It was like stay there and stay in the relationship and try and see where it goes, or come back to New Mexico. And she said that during that time of decision making, she had a dream. And in this dream, she was in a car with her sister. Her sister was driving a car, and that they were driving over the Cumbres Pass. And it was the middle of winter, and everything was icy and snowy, and there was a full moon. So she's in this dream, and they're doing that, and then she said she looked out the window and she saw a bunch of toucans flying around the moon, and she said, and she was like, oh yeah, the great toucan migration, of course. How you do in dreams, you're like, oh yeah, of course. And these toucans were very special. They had, it was sort of a hybrid. They had the tail of a quetzal bird, which is from further south in Latin America. But yeah, she looked out the window to the great toucan migration, and then she looked back into the car at her sister, and her sister turned to her and said something along the lines of, tender returns are really important. Tender returns are really important. And by tender returns, she meant when you have a loved one or a partner and you say something or you point something out, and the way that they respond to you tenderly, or they say, they give you some indication that they're listening to you and they care about what you think and what you said. And so I believe that was a reference to the potential relationship. But anyway, her sister said that, then she said she woke up. And then eventually she decided to go ahead and come back to New Mexico, and she needed a place to live. And she found this little old adobe house in El Rito, New Mexico. Not the El Rito north of here, but the El Rito south of here and across the river over a little, you know where I'm talking about, right? Okay, yeah. Because there's other places that have the same. So she found a little adobe house, but she hadn't ever visited it. She rented it sight unseen before she even made the trip. And she came out here and got to the house, and she went inside the house, and the house was unfurnished. There was nothing in the house except she went into the bedroom, and there was a little painting of toucans on the wall, which maybe you've seen. I've seen those around here, right? But it was like, wow, right? Because of her dream. So, in addition, in the house, and you might hear this in the song a little bit, the owner had carved hearts in the walls, sort of in like a relief kind of style. So this is called Margaret's Dream, and it's half dream and half reality.
Turn
grito. Thank you. Thank you very much. That song and this next song that I'm going to sing are both going to be on my upcoming album. This next song was inspired by growing up in northern New Mexico and hearing my dad mainly tell a lot of stories just like Mr. Roberto here, and all the names that he would say. Names of our family, names of our cousins, uncles, you name it. We're kind of all related. So I started writing down and making a list of some of these old names that they're still around. My cousin is about my age and his name is Crescenciano, right? You know, there's still some cool names going on, but a lot of these make me think of like the olden times. So I started making this list of names and then started making these little stories to go with the names that rhymed, you know. Yeah, this is what came out. I'm calling it Primos. And on the recording, it'll have an organ doing this little tune, so I'm just going to sing it. Jesús, José y Casimiro se fueron a la leña y fallecieron en camino. Narciso, Onofre y Crescenciano terminaron ser pastores ahí solitos en el llano. Delfina, so many names. There's these three women that get married to the shepherds. What are your names? It ends with Teodora. Cristiana, Crescentiano. Oh, shoot. Crescentiano. I'm sorry. Isidoro's in the song later. Well, I remember Teodora, so okay. Let me just start over. Jesús, José y Casimiro se fueron a la leña y fallecieron en camino. Sisto, Onofre y Crescenciano terminaron ser pastores ahí solitos en el llano. I'll just make something up. Estefanita, Marita, y Teodora se casaron con traumatize them. No, Maddie's little. Yeah. Nico Mendes. Okay. My goodness. Okay. What are some names of people that are here?
I know a name from Sierra Maria.
Okay.
Maclovia.
Okay.
Maclovia.
Maclovia.
Rosangela.
Rosangela. But men, are there men?
Eustaquio.
Tranquilino.
Eustaquio, tranquilo. Y Nico Mendes se fueron a la guerra y regresaron medio crueles. Sencionita, la chiquita y Mano Narciso regaban de la sequía y criaron 15 hijos. Maximiana y su hermana, la Josefa, salieron del hogar para ser monja y maestra. María y María, 4 viudas con arrugas, pues sin hombre ya no hay vida. No te asombres de estos nombres, nuestros primos. Es por ellos y sus vidas que hoy vivimos. Wonderful names to fill in the gaps.
Well, thank you. I want to get some feedback. Thank you all for coming. It was a beautiful evening, and I just want to again thank SOMOS for a wonderful kickoff to the 27th annual, Jeff? 26th?
Right.
The 26th annual storytelling, right? Or 27th.
Annual, yes.
Here we go. So if you're in Taos this weekend, we have lots of events. We have a workshop tomorrow morning. We have a story swap in the afternoon at the Martinez Hacienda. And then we have our main event at the TCA tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. And I just want to thank the board of directors of SOMOS for all their support and their help. And I want to thank all the beautiful storytellers for their time, for their corazón, for their cariño. And just thanks to all my familia for being behind me always to make this happen. And I hope you all have a beautiful evening. And go write, go tell stories, raise your voices. Buenas noches. Thank you so much.